The constellation Demon King of Salvation has placed 1 million coins on the incarnation Jung-hyuk. The system message resonated in the hall, and the attention of the constellations focused on me. I bet my money on a fight that was obviously disadvantageous. My actions intrigued some of the constellations. The constellation Thursday's Thunder is showing favorability towards you. The constellation Morning Star Goddess is showing favorability towards you. However, only a few constellations showed such a response. Most of the constellations were swept away by the heat of the gambling. Ha ha ha, you're crazy. If so, I'll bet 500,000 coins. The brash swamp predator who bet on the ice flower goddess from the beginning opened his mouth first. Then, the watching constellations started to join one by one. The constellation Tranquil Island Gourmet has placed 20,000 coins on the constellation Zhu Lingling. The constellation Master of the White Castle has placed 30,000 coins on the constellation Zhu Lingling. The messages were pouring out. Most of them were messages giving coins to the ice flower goddess Zhu Lingling. I was the only one who was on Yu Jung-hyuk's side. The constellation Queen of the Darkest Spring has placed 300,000 coins on the incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. Huh? I reflexively glanced at Persephone, who was giving a mysterious smile. I asked in a slightly worried tone, "Will it be okay?" Why are you asking if it will be okay?" I was the one who had nothing to reply. Maybe it was nothing for Persephone to bet 300,000 coins. By the way, there was a meddlesome man beside me. Old hag, doesn't Hades nag you when you spend money like this? I'm not a grandmother, so the mass production maker should mind your words. An old woman at your age should eat moderately. Watch your mouth unless you want to be stuck in Tartarus. Wait, did you bet as well? The mass production maker laughed at Persephone's question. The constellation mass production maker has placed 150,000 coins on the incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. The mass production maker looked at me and said, "I didn't bet a lot because I didn't receive that much gold from this month's Dokkaebi bag settlement." In fact, he bet the exact price of Yoren's sword that I bought. Maybe there would be no income apart from the commission fee. In any case, I was grateful to them. Thanks to this, more excited constellations were betting coins. The constellation Goddess of Joy and Celebration has placed 50,000 coins on the constellation Zhu Lingling. The coins placed on the bets snowballed and soon surpassed 6 million coins. Now, the constellations of the Gourmet Association couldn't help shifting their gaze to one place. Die! Kill him quickly! I'll kill you if I lose my coins. They were no different from the human spectators in the arena. I felt strangely excited despite experiencing these stories. Mass production maker laughed as if he read my heart. I've gone through these stories, so I'm hungrier for them. Maybe not. Whether it's an constellation or human, they are all just children in front of the story. By the way, is there a chance of winning? Do you feel uneasy? No, it isn't like that. If there isn't a chance to win, I'll have to make it. To be precise, I had to make it a high multiplier. If Yu Jung-hyuk died, this round would be ruined. If the situation was like this, it was better to do it properly. The exclusive skill, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, has been activated. We couldn't lose. You can't connect with the current target. Shit. Yu Jung-hyuk. I was still getting this message. However, it wasn't the only method. Biu. What? As I waited, Biu moved her hand and a personal panel popped up in front of me. The screen soon unfolded. The brash swamp predator cried out strangely and let out a terrible poisonous fog. Whack! Everyone touched by the smoke screamed as they oxidized. Judging from the brash swamp predator's state, he was using roughly 1/3 of his status. 1/3 was enough to ruin the venue. The surrounding constellations were also supporting his use of probability. The grounds of the venue were split apart by the monster's feet. It was a terrible destructive power. However, it wasn't as strong compared to Peaceland or Dark Castle. At those times, the outer gods had descended. Still, there was no guarantee that this situation was better than Peaceland or Dark Castle. In Peaceland, there was Paradox Bakcheong, Kyrgios. In the Dark Castle, there was Goryo's first sword. Then, who was present now? The constellation Demon King of Salvation is looking at incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. Jung-hyuk frowned at my message. Kim Dokja, is your work finished? Consolation Demon King of Salvation says it is still in progress. Still. At this moment, a shadow of suspicion filled Yu Jung-hyuk's eyes. Yu Jung-hyuk stared at the brash swamp predator and asked, Perhaps, did this guy appear because of you? The bastard noticed quickly. Kim Dokja. He was filled with tremendous anger. I reached out as an apology. The Consolation Demon King of Salvation has sponsored 100 coins to Incarnation Yu Jung-hyuk. I don't need it. Then the brash swamp predator moved. He was an ancient lizard that governed all the swamps on his planet. The embodiment of his head was suddenly rising from the back of the ice flower goddess who had become a lizard. There was a terrible scream as the incarnation was deprived of her body. The lizard screamed and rushed forward, swinging a huge tail towards Yu Jung-hyuk. The tail of the lizard smashed through Yu Jung-hyuk's strong self-defense, and he was hit hard. Yu Jung-hyuk didn't seem to have reached the second stage of transcendence yet. Well, it would have been impossible for Yu Jung-hyuk to reach the second stage of transcendence in just 2 weeks. It could be called a devil's talent that he could drive the first stage ice flower goddess to such a state. Then there wasn't much time. The Consolation Demon King of Salvation is making a request. Yu Jung-hyuk had experienced Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint several times and should know what I was asking for. By the way, Yu Jung-hyuk's reaction was unexpected. I don't want to. Consolation Demon King of Salvation says if this continues, everyone will die. I won't die. The Consolation Demon King of Salvation says it isn't the time to be stubborn. I wasn't convinced I could knock down that monster even if I used electrification in Yu Jung-hyuk's body. There might be a way to use the fourth wall like last time, but it was only possible for constellations who used mental skills. Yu Jung-hyuk used swift footwork to attack the brush, and the brash swamp predator once again prepared his poison. Based on the number of sparks around his mouth, this was a really devastating attack. I urged Yu Jung-hyuk, but Yu Jung-hyuk was adamant. Go ahead and do what you have to do, Kim Dokja. I panicked at the unexpected action. No, why was this bastard so stubborn today? I hurriedly looked around. Since it was like this, I had to borrow another hand, even if the martial arts competition was ruined. In this place, there was only one person strong enough to help us, the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint, Namgung Minyoung. She was a powerhouse who couldn't be pushed by Kyrgios or Chuk Jung-young. Thus, she could deal with this monster alone. Soon afterwards, I found the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint sitting in the audience while eating dumplings. The Consolation Demon King of Salvation is asking for help. Despite my message, the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint just kept chewing the dumplings. She sometimes fed dumplings to the Breaking the Sky Master lying next to her. In the seats below them, Jang-hyuk and Han Myung-oh were sitting beside each other while also eating dumplings. What were these humans doing? Then I once again sent a message. The Consolation Demon King of Salvation. At this moment, Yu Jung-hyuk spoke. Shin Yu-sung, are you listening? Bu appeared along with these words. But? Turn off Kim Dokja's screen. Bu glanced at Yu Jung-hyuk like it was difficult. I didn't know much of Shin Yu-sung's memories survived, but when I thought about it, these two people had a very complex relationship. Nevertheless, this was a story from before her rebirth. Now it was different. There was no reason for Bu to listen to Yu Jung-hyuk when she was my Dokubi. Yet, Bu sitting on my shoulders suddenly looked at me with a sorry expression. But, Bu? Cool. There was absurd acting, and Bu pretended to fall asleep. At the same time, my personal panel turned off and Yu Jung-hyuk's appearance disappeared. You have been disconnected. No, what is this? I didn't know what was happening. Why did Bu act like this all of a sudden? Why was there no mention of this situation in the revised ways of survival? Wah! There was a sudden scream, and I turned my attention to the panel installed on the screen. That! The surprise constellation started moving towards the panel. Persephone and the mass production maker were also approaching the panel. The screen was completely obscured by the more than 100 constellations gathered in front of it. No, wait a minute, let me look. I tried to enter any gaps, but the cluster of constellations was too hard. All I could hear from the sound of the thunder from the screen. Still, it was clear from the sound alone. It was the Breaking the Sky Thunder Sword. It was the real Thunder Sword, unlike what I had stolen. It seemed to be a devastating hit as the brash swamp predator let out a huge scream. The answer was obvious without even looking. Fortunately, there was the breaking of the sky sword saint. I let out a sigh of relief. Jung-hyuk was unharmed because the breaking the sky sword saint had acted. Thanks to this, the martial arts competition would be cancelled, but it was better than Jung-hyuk dying. Then someone suddenly shouted, "Oh, the disciple of the breaking the sky sword! Breaking the sky beauty!" Breaking the sky sword beauty? We shouldn't disparage an incarnation's martial arts. How is this? Wasn't it only the power of transcendence? It's an interesting ability. Is it something that the Asgardian person did? It isn't to my taste. The true voices in the halls were becoming heated for an unknown reason. The constellation prisoner of the golden headband is astonished. The constellation who likes to change sex is struggling with pleasure. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is shedding resentful tears. The channel and the banquet hall. I was dizzy from the indirect messages coming from everywhere. My coins! No, my coins! No, what the hell is going on? I held my breath and used my status to move through the constellations. I barely reached the front of the panel, and another tremendous lightning attack came from the screen. The entire screen turned white from the powerful lightning. The light slowly faded once it disappeared, and black ashes were scattered like snow. In front of my eyes, one man was standing still. It was the appearance of Jung-hyuk, who had raised his sword with an arrogant expression. Under his feet dwelled a giant lizard charred by lightning. Jung-hyuk stepped off the lizard's body and walked to the corner of the venue, pulling out something black that had been plugged in. There is no second place in this competition. It was the black demon sword. Thus, this is mine. Then the host's voice rang out. The winner of the martial arts competition has been decided. I didn't know how such a thing was possible. I rubbed my eyes and glanced again. The situation was still the same. It wasn't the breaking the sky sword saint, but Jung-hyuk. The winner is the breaking the sky sword beauty Jung-hyuk. No, what the hell was the breaking the sky sword beauty? My questions didn't last for long. It was due to the overwhelming system messages that entered my ears. The Sub-Scenario Gourmet Association betting has been completed. You have won the bet. You have acquired a new story. The story Miracle Gambler has been acquired. Then there was the sound of coins falling. The Sub-Scenario Compensation has been acquired. I reflexively checked my number of coins. The numbers slowly creaked up as if it was too hard to handle. Coins possessed, 1,986,725 coins. Coins possessed, 2,790,876 coins. Coins possessed, 3,890,875 coins. The coins that the constellations bet were being stacked up like snow on my balance.